Well, here we go. So, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Laura Hunter from Drop the Leash Dog Training. I'm here today with Celeste Gagnon, who teaches with me at Drop the Leash Dog Training, and we are here today to talk about online program because it is the way of the world. So, if you have any questions about online, please post them in the comments below, and hopefully Celeste will be able to see those. But we also have had a number of questions lately. We've been getting a lot of calls about the program, and we've been getting the same questions over and over again. So we thought the easiest thing to do was to drop on today and answer everybody's questions, so I don't have to repeat my phone conversations 5 times a day. But it's okay. It's okay. You know what? We get it, because life is different now, and it is taking some time to, I think, for everybody to adjust what's happening. And it's a hard thing to think of going from being in a live puppy class with a bouncing puppy on the leash to sitting in front of a Zoom screen. But I have to tell everybody that before we get into the questions, I was thinking, Celeste, you and I, look at how many courses we've taken over the past few years, and every single one of them has been online, and I'm okay with them. I'm actually quite happy about learning online. I don't know how you feel about it, but there's just so many advantages to being online at this point. For us, that's for sure.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you can take courses that you wouldn't necessarily have access to either, because it's not necessarily local.
That's true. That's true. And definitely in terms of time, convenience-wise, it's been good for me, and I think for you too, because we're both busy, and you've got kids, and we both have dogs, and it's nice to be able to get into stuff when we have the time to do it. And it's just it's something different to wrap our head around. So let's answer some of those common questions that people have.
All right.
Keeping everybody's minds at rest.
Okay. Isn't it better to have hands-on coaching?
Well, the obvious answer to that would be, sorry, you can't right now. So, and just before I jumped on, I took a look at the numbers today, and I don't think there's going to be hands-on coaching for I think it's going to be longer than we think it's going to be before we all can get back into a training hall. But we took 2 programs online at the beginning of COVID in the spring. One was the Reactive Dog program, and the other is, of course, the puppy programs. And since I think the beginning of June, maybe middle of June, we've put over 50 puppies through the online puppy program, and people have been generally quite happy about it. In our experience, what we've found is, especially with the puppy people, but even with the reactive classes, is that the biggest thing people need is information. Like how do I solve the biting? How do I house train my puppy? What's socialization? People aren't even sure what socialization means and what they're supposed to do about it. Why is my puppy doing this, and how do I get them to stop? And there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's so many different techniques and concepts and opinions on Facebook. And there's a lot of misinformation about there. And I find that people don't really understand what dogs are necessarily, especially if you're a first-time dog owner. What is a dog, and why are they doing all these strange things? So I'm finding that my people need that more than they need me to demonstrate and coach them through sitting down with a dog. And I'm not denigrating those skills. I'm happy to do it, but that's the easy part of the program. The hard part is, how do you stop your dog from eating your family, your puppy? And how do you stop them from, eating the furniture, and why are they doing all these things? And so we could never find time to explain that to people in a puppy class. It's been a long time, but it seems like a long time since you and I taught puppy classes live.
Yeah.
But I think we both remember what they were like. And we actually did go back to some games programs just before this lockdown. And we can teach skills in the arena, or when we were down at Doggy Den, we could teach, everybody 3 or 4 skills in the class, but I'm not sure anybody went home knowing why they were doing those skills and how to apply them in the world. And it still it wasn't going to help our puppy owners with puppy biting, or the house training, or even if your dog's afraid. We didn't have time to stop in the middle of a class and explain to people, why this dog is afraid and how we're going to fix that. So right. I think you actually get more information out of our online program. Then maybe what we should do, though, is stop and just for a second and explain the format, because there's every trainer's going on live online right now. Everybody has different. So that a lot of trainers I know are doing live Zooms with people, and certainly we do live Zooms, but they're doing private Zooms. They're not doing group. We are a bit different because we're still maintaining the group format. And when I say group, I want everybody to know we're not getting 8 people on a Zoom with their dogs and putting them all through sitting down one at a time. Oh my God, I have to bring alcohol. It would just be so long. So what we're doing is all of our activities, all of our lessons are in 3 to 5 minute videos that we stand there, the activity, we go through it step by step. Everybody gets a set of those training units each week to work on, and then we get together on Zoom to talk about what I've just gone over, and any questions people have about about what's going on with their dogs. And I have to say, when we first started the Zoom lessons, I was nervous, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go. And it took, I don't know about you, but it took me a while to get comfortable with having 6 people staring at me out of a computer screen. And so I can understand why potential clients would feel like that. And I think a lot of my clients did feel like that at the beginning, but none of us quite knew how to relate to each other. But I have to say that the Zooms now are drastically different than the Zooms that I did in June. I think I'm more comfortable. The clients certainly, a lot of people are on Zoom for work these days. Everybody's becoming more comfortable with it. So we're having conversations, which is nice. And people are talking to each other as well as to me. So it has changed quite radically. So, we're not standing in the arena, telling everybody, great work, good job. Yes, you did that right. No, you didn't. But we are giving people more information about that, about, just the stuff that they need that we could never give them before.
Yeah, well, I think the main difference there, conversation can happen online. And it can't happen in class because your attention is divided in class. Right?
Exactly.
So online it's actually a lot more supportive and a lot more informative than the in-class sessions.
Yes. And I think that what you just said ties into, I think, the second question. What is the second question?
With the live coaching, I think we kind of.
Yeah, don't I get,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't I get more instruction or something?
Yeah. Don't I get more information from my instructor in a live class?
Well, we tried to give them the same sort of information, but as you said, it's you've got a bouncing puppy on the end of the leash, and you're trying to do something with your puppy, and you're trying to you're trying to keep them from jumping on the next puppy, or you're trying to keep them away from the next puppy, and you're trying to focus on us. There's so much going on that I don't think people remembered 80% of what they did in class when they got home, because you can't learn that way when you're distracted. So the beauty of what we do is, because people get the videos, and the videos are broken down, they're short, they're simple, you can go back and look at a 2-minute video. Well, you and I do this when we take our own courses, is we get to go and look at the videos over and over and over again. So don't remember how to do that? Let's go online and look at the video. So I think it's easier for people to work through the progressions in class and to actually achieve something with the dog. And the other thing too is that we can give you live coaching. If I have clients who are having trouble, all of my clients know that if there's something they don't understand about the videos, if they're having trouble, they're not sure they're doing it the right way, we jump on Zoom. Nobody's got anything else to do right now. All dog trainers have a lot of free time right now, so there's no problem jumping on Zoom whenever someone needs us. And it doesn't even have to be Zoom. It could be Facebook Messenger, it could be WhatsApp, it could be anything that works. And I've spent time in people's kitchens lately, just, coaching them through, the steps that they need to take to achieve what it is they need to. I've even gone on neighborhood walks with people on FaceTime. So, it's there if you need it. We're just sticking at this point with the group format because I like people to connect in classes, and it's also financially easier for people to do group than it is to do private. But having said that, there's tons of dog trainers out there right now who are doing private live. So if people need private, it's out there too,
Yeah. I like the group format though, because you get to hear that you're not the only one going through the same problems. Or somebody will bring a problem up and you were like, oh, that does happen. And you didn't even necessarily notice that was something that was going to bug you later on.
Yes. And I think once everybody gets on the first Zoom and realizes that every other family is also being eaten by their puppy at the moment, that they're not the only ones, and their puppy just isn't taking it personally and trying to annihilate the family, you're right, everybody's got the same issue. Yeah. So, they feel supported and they can commiserate for sure, and the cool thing is that sometimes my clients even come up with really good ideas. I know. Yeah. We were talking the other day about when you've got to put the puppy in a crate because it's eating you, and what can you put in the crate so it's got something to chew on in the crate. People were coming up with great ideas, things I didn't think of.
Yeah, the problem solving is good.
Yeah, great. And I know that some of our clients have even formed, I don't know about our current groups, but some of our past groups have formed smaller groups that go out for walks together and meet in backyards, which is great, So there's, I think you still get your live instructor, you still get us when you need it, but you're also getting, I think, more support and more connection in the classes, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next question? So
isn't a live class better for the dog?
No. Well, from your perspective or the dogs, from the dog's perspective, it's like Disneyland. But it is terribly distracting for the dog. And I guess there's two ways of looking at it, is that dogs do need to learn to work with distractions. But you and I both know that the best place for a dog to learn, especially a puppy, is in the house where there's no distractions, where your dog can, and both of you can actually learn and get through the process and be successful, and then you take it out into the world.
Yeah.
And that's always the way we've taught everything. How many times have I said to people in the live classes, because people come to the first class and they're totally discouraged because their dog can't even sit. And the first thing we have to say over and over is, don't worry, we don't expect your dog, to have the skill today, as long as you guys understand what you're supposed to be doing so you can take it home and work with it at home. So, we're skipping that step. We're actually bringing it to the home this way with the videos,
Well, and the other thing about, talking about bringing it home with the videos, I find that with videos, people will practice more throughout the week, whereas with a class, you do it in the class and you go home and you kind of forget about it until the next week.
Yes.
And that's not how anybody learns. So
that's right. There does have to be a bit of self-discipline in both cases, but you know what? It is easier to get, to pull up the video, look at the video and go, I'm going to do this for 2 minutes, as opposed to, oh my God, what did we do? I don't remember, it was 3 days ago. I'm not sure I got it. I think so too. That it is easier for the dogs to learn in that kind of situation. And the owners aren't as frustrated. And the other thing too, is that in the classes, everybody feels self-conscious. You and I are always telling people, come on, be perky, be out there, be enthusiastic. And everybody's going, oh my God, I feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
Whereas at home, you have the freedom to work on all that stuff, because we still put it in to the, we still encourage it, but you can get more accustomed to it at home without feeling quite so silly or so centered out, I guess. Yeah. So, okay.
Okay. Yeah, this is the question that I hear all the time. Oh no, wait, we're not there yet. If there's no live socialization right now, should I wait until a live class begins again?
Oh, that is a big question.
That is a good one.
Yeah, that's a biggie. Okay, so I'm hoping that everybody understands and is familiar with the that magical socialization period that our puppies go through, where their brains are more flexible, they're easier to work with, they're more resilient to issues that come up. That socialization period ends at 14 weeks, 16. There's no research that's come up with an exact date for it to end, but most of the vet behaviorists and the researchers will say somewhere between 14 and 16 weeks. Well, if you get your puppy at 9 or 10 weeks, you're all like, what have you got left? You've got 6 weeks left.
Yeah.
And that isn't a huge amount of time. Because most, maybe more so nowadays, but people have jobs. Nobody's got 6 full weeks to devote to socialization. Their puppy, you got to kind of fit it in with your family and your job and everything else. So it's not a huge amount of time. So if people wait, and that's also why the American Vet Association is now saying, give your dogs their first shot and get them into classes, or they were saying this. The beauty is now that you can start your dog on socialization the day you bring them home, because you can do it in the house. You don't have to go to a class. And then I think we have a question about that down the
Yeah, we have a kind of a follow-up.
Yeah. But you got to get, that's always my big priority in these classes, especially with COVID, and now it's winter, is that I know that puppies aren't getting out in the world. They're not getting out as much, but it doesn't mean you can't work on it in class, but you do have to get started. So you don't want to wait until your puppy's 3, 4, 5 months old before you start, getting some sort of education. And I do think people do need the education. I really do at this point, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I won't get ahead of the questions. I'll wait till they come up, because I'm going to start on my rant here. I'll pull it in.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, you don't want to wait. You do not want to wait, for sure.
So the follow-up to that is, what's the point if my puppy can't play with other puppies?
Yes, another big question. Because socialization isn't just about your puppy playing with other puppies. And certainly we do think that puppies should play with other puppies if possible. And they should have that opportunity. And we did run the puppy play groups, which unfortunately now we can't, and hopefully we will be back at some time. You know, but that isn't the only thing that we're concerned about. Socialization is about much more than just playing with other puppies. It's about developing resiliency in your dog, so they're confident, so they can take on new challenges, they can have new experiences, and they won't develop fear. And that's always my big priority, is that after that socialization period is over, it is much harder to work with fear in dogs. You know, it's much easier to get a puppy over it. So again, I think that is why people still need trainers, even though, you know, we're not together, because trainers, any good trainer can give you a ton of information on socialization, what it really means, and how you can go about socializing a puppy that you know, you can't really get out in the world. You know, in the old days, oh my God,
before COVID.
Before COVID, there were, you know, we'd say to people, take your puppy to PetSmart, you know, carry them around PetSmart, carry them around, go to Global, go to Pet Value, you know, take the puppy in, even if they're not old enough and, you know, you're worried about safety, carry them, expose them to all of those things. But nobody can do that anymore. And to be honest, you and I have both talked about this extensively, that there has to be a balance in how much and how often and at what intensity you expose your puppy to people and other dogs. And so ironically enough, when we had the first lockdown, I think I actually did a live video on it, a Facebook thing. My first thought was, oh, well, maybe we won't be over socializing the puppies at this point, because we do see a lot of puppies that are over socialized. And by that, we're talking about puppies who think, or come to think, that they should be able to meet every other dog and every human that they encounter. Yeah. And you and I used to talk a lot about it to our classes, but, and I'm not being critical, everybody's just so happy their puppies want to play with other puppies that they're not thinking about any future issues that can come up from that. And you and I both know, because we run a reactive dog program, that not putting some boundaries on your puppy's socialization with dogs and potentially people as well can create, what do you want to call them?
Frustration.
Sorry?
Frustrations.
Yeah, but a puppy that just is so overexcited about everything, like way beyond pro-social, way beyond pro-social. You know, it's a little bit like, you know,
manic.
Yeah, it's a little bit like having a toddler, and you know, you take the toddler into every toy store or candy store, you know, that they see along the street, because it's just so much easier. And then one day you have to say, I'm sorry, we're not going to do this anymore. And they're like, oh my God, you know, like you've got a frustrated child having a tantrum. The same things happens with those dogs. Yeah. Is that, you know, our leash reactivity program, actually, we don't have a lot of fearful dogs in the leash reactivity program, but it was 90% pro-social dogs who just didn't understand that they needed to actually disengage from those dogs. So, you know, you can still, in lockdown, take your dog out into the world, and you can do it safely. You can even do it in your car, or just go to a parking lot where all those people are lined up to get into Costco. You don't have to go near those people. You don't have to, you know, get your puppy out of the car even, but you can teach your puppy that, yeah, there's people out there, there's dogs out there. Or you could, you know, go and stand far, far away from a dog park where they're all enclosed. You know, you can teach your dog, and you should teach your dog, yes, we see other dogs, yes, we see other people, but what you should really be doing is focusing on me instead, and disengaging from those other dogs and people, and focusing on me. Because even aside from the leash reactivity program, we know from the games program, where that's where we get all the teenage dogs, is that those dogs come into the program and they just, like, they have no sense that their owners are on the other end of the leash. They just want to meet every dog in class, you know. Yeah. And again, I'm not being critical. I think people just don't realize that that can happen. They don't see into the future and think, oh my gosh, I'm going to have this kind of an issue. Everybody's just super happy that their dogs are social. And I get that, because you and I have dogs that aren't social as well. Yeah. But you know, there are so many things you could do right now with your dog. And that's a good reason to sign up for, you know, a puppy program right now, because any trainer that's, you know, worth their salt can give you a ton of things you can do in a house that will still address issues out in the world. But you can also take your dog out in the world safely and condition them to be happy with dogs and people and whatnot. So, yeah, you know, people they still need that guidance in how to do that, I think, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's doable. It's doable, you know, for sure. It's just, you know, as I said, people need guidance in how to do it. And I think people also need support in just getting out of the house. You know, like I talk to my puppy people all the time, like, let's get let's get them out of the house. Here are some ideas for getting them out of the house. You know, take them out and do this, take them out and do that, and you know, expose them to this. You can do it in your, as I said, you can even do it in your car. You know, I get it. It's January, it's cold, and you know, we're not supposed to be out, you know, running around. And puppies don't want to. A lot of puppies don't want to be out in the cold right now. But you can still do stuff out of your car. And if you can't, you can do it in the house. You know? Yeah.
Okay, so we have a couple questions, but they're all very specific scenarios. So I'm not going to get into them.
Can we generalize them?
Well, and this is kind of where I'm going to go with this. I think, I mean, there's questions about reactivity outside the window, separation anxiety, puppy biting, walking on a leash. So we talked about the ideas of socialization that we give in the class through online learning. Can you tell everybody the kind of items that you teach in the actual course about, like, what issues do you address in the class itself, so that they can see that these answers come in the course?
Okay. So, you know, in generally, the three things that we focus on in our puppy class, aside from biting, but biting also fits into one of those, mm-hmm. Is calmness, you know, the biting thing, puppies are going to bite. That's all there is to it. But we can certainly give people a lot of techniques and a lot of ideas to work on calmness, because, you know, calmness is something we want from all our dogs. You and I know that, you know, we've got herding dogs, we've got high drive dogs. A lot of people in puppy classes are coming in with herding dogs, high drive dogs, sporting dogs. And you and I know how important it is that they, that we do achieve calmness with our dogs. So definitely, we do mat work. We talk about teaching dogs to understand context, play outside, calm inside. Definitely, we want to work on that. We want to work on confidence, and confidence these days is a lot of it is about being in the crate, is about being left alone. That's going to be a huge issue.
Yeah.
And hopefully very soon, you and I will, I will have some certification in separation anxiety, and you and I will be able to work on separation anxiety. I think it's going to be a huge issue.
There's a couple comments already about that.
Yeah. Well, we'll be there for you guys. We're on it. We're on it right now. And definitely confidence, because you and I also know what it's like to have a fearful dog that's not confident. And I think that one gets overlooked a lot. So, I've actually, because of this lockdown, I've added more units to the course. Mm-hmm. We're not, loose leash walking is not a huge priority as a specific exercise, but focus and attention on us can start now, because we know that once these puppies hit the teen years, they're going to be like every other puppy in the world, two-legged and four-legged, don't want to pay attention to the parents, poor impulse control, can't make good decisions, way too distracted by the world. So we start working on games for focus and attention right away in the puppy program, for sure, which leads to recall, which eventually does lead to loose leash walking. So it's the connection to you, it's the confidence, how to, a lot of my current puppy owners are talking about nail trims and bathing, and now we don't have groomers. How do we get our dogs to like being brushed? So we've come up with a whole new set of units on those type of issues, plus counter conditioning, how to work with your dog when they are afraid of something, because that's something you need to learn from a competent trainer. That's a process that you need to know. And I think every owner should be able to recognize that. So we've got a unit on body language now, how to recognize when your puppy's afraid and how you can do something about it. You don't always have to run to a dog trainer every time your dog's afraid. You can go through the process if we teach it to you properly. So those are the big three: the confidence, the connection to us, and calmness. Because I'm also hearing that there are a lot of really overexcited puppies in lots of Aussie doodles, Aussie mini Aussies. We met many on our field. Yeah, just don't know what to do.
I think doodles in general is a very popular mix right now, and I don't think people everywhere realize what a high energy breeds you're mixing in there.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
They make for really fun dogs, but you have to know, you have to be prepared for that.
Yeah, and I think it's super, again, I'll go back to the fact it's January and it's lockdown and it's super tough to get your dogs out and to, do what we would normally be doing out there in the world. So we're adding way more games type activities and stuff that you can start in the house, so your dog's ready when the weather does clear up and we are released. I want my puppies to be ahead of the game when they're out in the world, when they get out in the world. And at least have a head start, towards those teen years for sure.
Well, give their owners a fighting chance.
Exactly. Yeah. So, as I said in the beginning, all trainers are going online right now, and I've seen really good programs coming up. Everybody has a bit of a different format, but there's lots of choice out there. So it's just a case of people finding the format that works best for them. I know some people, it's always been that way. Some people have always wanted private puppy lessons or dog training lessons, that's great. You know, if that's what you want. Others, you know, are happy with group, but there's lots of choice out there these days. So it's just a matter of everybody, you know, wrapping their head around it. And as I said, we're all getting more comfortable. You know, in the beginning, everybody used to say, "Oh my God, Zoom, what's Zoom? I don't know. Isn't that weird? I don't know how to get on Zoom." Well, I think we're all pretty comfortable with Zoom these days.
Yeah.
I've had some odd things happen with Zoom lately, but that's the instructor having problems with Zoom, so not the students. I think the internet's a little screwed up in this lockdown. But, you know, if people are uncomfortable with, you know, Zoom, if you haven't tried it yet, I know we're happy to go through practice Zooms with people and walk them through it. And I think most other trainers are as well. So it is, we don't have a choice at this point. That's what it boils down to. But I also think that more people will start to think like you and I down the road, that you do get more value in a lot of ways.
You do. So one last question here.
Sure.
Since we have the time, how long is the training program? And is it weekly? And then with the Zoom as well on top of that. So I guess describe in a week what would be given and what we would do.
Okay, so we're saying right now that the program is 6 weeks. So I released 6, in the beginning I released 6 sets of units. We have more units now. We've got the bonus counter conditioning stuff. There's also a bonus resource guarding mini course in there now. And I've added a bonus games program to a training games program. So we've got a lot of units in there. People get to keep those units for the rest of their life. We don't want them back. They're yours. And so I think there's a lot of information in that program that would take people beyond 6 weeks.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, which is great because, you know, you spend some time doing that. You know, we're going to have a games program out. You know, when we go live again, we're going to have an online games program. It's not ready yet, but I've given my puppy people more than enough to keep them busy. The Zooms we do once a week. We do an hourly Zoom, and I do anywhere between 4 and 6 Zooms throughout the course. What we did was we were doing 6 Zooms, but we pulled it back a little bit because we added the puppy socials every week. And so we were pretty busy with those puppy socials, and our puppy socials extended beyond the 6-week period too. So, you know, I know that when my current new puppy groups, have a few of them now, we're worried about missing out on the socials, but because we're willing to extend beyond the 6-week program, we've told everybody that they will get the puppy socials, hopefully. You know, actually, I can't guarantee it. It's down for 4 months. I don't know. You know, who knows? But
the intention is there.
Yeah, we will get them up as soon as we go. So weekly Zoom, new units to work on, videos every week. And we also are available pretty much any day of the week. If somebody's having an issue and they want, you know, 15, 20 minutes of one-on-one, we have no problem doing that right now. Because I you know, it's you know, we can't give you a puppy social, but we'll give you extra support in that area. And the other thing is that, you know, we've had a number of people in the puppy class who just happily sent us videos. And, you know, if we have a system for people to send us videos, if they want to send us their training videos or videos of their puppy doing something that they cannot begin to explain, that's a great way for us to be able to see what people are doing, jump on a live, help them out, or say, this is what your puppy's doing. This is, you know, let me explain to you what the puppy's doing, why it's doing, and if you'd like it to do something instead, we're more than happy to help you out with that. So, you know, we're just, the time is, everybody, I can't speak for other trainers, but we've got lots of time on our hands right now. We're willing to give the extra, and we've been doing that since the first lockdown. So,
yeah,
you know. there's
the
a lot more support.
Yeah, you're very accommodating right now, because I know that, like, we realize that people maybe need that extra help because they don't have the outside resources they did before.
Well, and because the world is more complicated for
it is a little bit
right now. It's not like I'm going to take my dog for a walk 5 times a day and they're going to meet, you know,
Yeah.
they're going to get to see all sorts of things out in the world. I'm not sure who's getting out and for how long, and, you know, how people are doing with that right now.
So there is a question about the training program again. I know Scott put a link to the our program page in the comments. So if you just look up at the top of the comments for this window, you'll see the link to the actual program. And do you know when the next group is starting, Laura?
You know, it's almost as though I have a group starting weekly at this point. What we do is, and that is the beauty of online, is people can start their puppies so early. It's great. What happens is, as I said, I seem to be coming up. We're keeping the group small, but we seem to be getting sort of new groups every 2 weeks or so. You don't have to wait. If, say, you know, you wanted to sign up next week, I have a group that is just coming up to their first Zoom probably in the next couple of days. If somebody signed up after that, what I've been doing lately is just jumping on, giving them a one-to-one Zoom to catch them up, and then they can jump into group as well. You know, so again, we're trying to accommodate so that people can catch up and get into a group right away. So
their best bet is to email you. And
yeah, and I'm happy to throw. I'm finding that when I'm trying to do those catch-up Zooms, I'm getting 2 or 3 people who want to jump into a group. So I'm happy to do that. Yeah, you know, but yeah, so it is, you know, it is what it is, and it's not going to change for a while. So I'm just hoping we set some people's minds at rest about this. And, you know, certainly if anybody has any general questions, it's hard for us to answer those specific questions, because some of the answers to those specific questions would be pretty long. But if anybody has any general questions about, you know, online in general, or the format of our program, or, you know, whether they think it would be a good fit, certainly I'm happy to have those conversations with people.
And I think now it's important for people to realize too that this is our second round of lockdown, and our second round of doing this, and this is now like a tried and true program. It's not experimental. Like, we know this works.
No. Yes, and I feel very confident about that, and I feel quite comfortable about you know, what we're doing. And you know, people have said to us, here's an interesting one, this is a big question I get all the time, when we open up, will you go back to live puppy classes? I'm not sure. I really do like the format right now, because I can give everybody all the information that they couldn't give them before, and I could give them puppy socials as well. And you and I answer a lot of questions at puppy socials.
Yes.
You know. Yeah. So, and
You're getting the best of both worlds.
Yes, and I do believe in sort of summing it all up, that the videos are a great way to learn, and easier to learn from than, you know, trying to remember stuff from a weekly class. So, unfortunately, I don't think we have to make that decision for a while. I don't see I don't see the world opening up to a lot of live stuff. You know, and that is, to be honest, maybe that's how we, you know, end this off, is it's safe. You know, what we're doing is safe. And so, you know, I'm happy for everybody to be safe as long as possible, until everybody gets, you know, a vaccine, and we can all go out in the world safely again. So that is a big factor as well, I think, that we haven't touched on. So, yeah.
If you're thinking also of just doing something for mental health for yourself, just doing something different from your routine, and having some kind of contact via Zoom with other people that are going through the same thing as you.
And people
it's there too.
People do bring coffee and wine to the Zooms. And we do have we have fun. We have fun
Yeah.
in the rooms, we try and put some humor into it. It's puppies. We're not going to take this too seriously. So, yeah, you're right. Something I hadn't thought about, but it is good for people's mental health, probably.
It is. It's a break.
Chat about the puppies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we're out of questions. And as I said, if anybody has any general questions, they're more than welcome to get in touch with me through email, or give us a call. I think our number's on our website, droptheleash.ca.
Yeah, and again, the link is at the top.
Yeah, or just post in the comments, and be happy to talk to you about general stuff in terms of online. So. Yeah. So anyway, thank you, Celeste, for monitoring the questions for me. Thank you for asking the questions. And as I said, hopefully we put everybody's mind at rest. And, we'll just go forward from here. Hopefully we'll be back next week with another Facebook Live. I think we were going to stay on the puppy theme and do a Facebook Live on kids and puppies. Mm-hmm. Which is probably something that people need to be looking at really seriously, because you have all your children and your puppies are all stuck in the house together right now. So we have some thoughts about that we're happy to share next week. So thank you, everybody, and stay safe. And hopefully we'll talk to you next week. Take care.